Hey there, folks. Old Man Weather here. If you want to stay ahead of the storms and get the most reliable forecasts, make sure you follow Sky Alert USA. Seriously, go ahead and subscribe, like, and drop a comment below to support us. It helps a ton, and you'll never miss a critical update. Right now, as you're watching this, a storm train is already moving across the United States. And what's coming over the next 5 to 7 days is something most people are completely unprepared for. We're not just talking about one storm. We're talking about 3 separate systems back to back, tornadoes in February, potential flash freezes, and a nor'easter that could drop feet of snow on the East Coast. And the worst part? Most of the country is sitting here enjoying 70-degree weather with no idea what's about to hit them. Let's start with what's happening right now, today, because there's already a massive winter storm hammering the northern plains and the upper Midwest. Northern Wisconsin and northern Minnesota are getting absolutely buried this morning. We're talking 1 to 2 feet of snow in some spots. And near Duluth and far northeastern Minnesota, we could see totals push up to 2 to 3 feet before this is all over. That is not something you see from a single storm event very often. And this same system is dragging snow all the way out toward the East Coast, with a widespread swath of at least 3 inches expected to reach New England and New York by tonight and tomorrow morning. But here's where things get really serious, and I need you to pay close attention to this next part. While the first storm is still winding down across New England, while people are still shoveling their driveways, a brand new, completely separate storm system is already organizing over the Rockies right now, and it's going to move into the Central Plains by Thursday morning. And this one is a 2-headed monster. On the north side, we're talking heavy snow, up to a foot in parts of Wisconsin and Michigan, significant accumulations back into Iowa, Nebraska and Minnesota. But on the south side of this system, that's where it gets dangerous in a completely different way. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk of severe weather for Thursday, covering parts of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky and Ohio. If you live in Cincinnati, Indianapolis or Louisville, you need to stop what you're doing right now and make sure you know your tornado action plan, because Thursday is not a day to be caught off guard. We have a 5% tornado probability in place across parts of Indiana, Illinois and Ohio, and I want to explain exactly why this February setup is so unusual and so dangerous. Dew points, which is basically the moisture in the air, are forecast to reach the mid to upper 50s and even low 60s on Thursday. In February. That is summer-level moisture. Combined with the extreme wind shear this system is going to produce, we have genuine supercell potential on Thursday afternoon. Now, there are some fail modes here. If dew points stay below 55, storms may stay elevated and tornadoes become much harder to develop. Instability could also underperform, but the setup is real enough that you absolutely cannot ignore it. Here's the timeline for Thursday's severe weather. Around lunchtime, expect a cluster of storms developing near St. Louis. Mostly hail at that point, not much tornado threat. But as we move toward 2 to 3 p.m., that's when the atmosphere could start to destabilize in a more dangerous way, especially just east of St. Louis, where supercells could fire off if enough instability builds behind the lead convection. Tornadoes become significantly more likely in that scenario. By 4 to 5 p.m., storms become widespread across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. The localized tornado threat then continues into southern Indiana and southwest Ohio through roughly 9 p.m. Thursday night. After midnight, the severe threat drops off dramatically, but heavy rain continues all the way from Louisiana up through New York. By Friday morning, attention shifts north. That's when a heavy band of snow is expected to set up across Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of Michigan, with near blizzard conditions possible. If you're traveling through Milwaukee, Madison, Minneapolis, or anywhere in northern Wisconsin on Friday morning, give yourself extra time or just don't go. Conditions could be genuinely dangerous on the roads. And then comes the cold. An Arctic air mass is currently building across the Pacific Northwest in Canada, and starting Friday into Saturday, it's going to begin pushing south. It won't make it very far south at first. Winter impacts will mainly stay across the northern tier. But once we hit Sunday and Monday, that's when the full swing happens. We're looking at temperature drops of as much as 40 degrees in some locations from Sunday into early Monday. 40 degrees. Cities that were hitting the 60s and 70s on Thursday, and yes, we are legitimately talking about Chicago seeing 60s today, South Texas seeing 80s and 90s, those same cities could be back near or below freezing by Monday and Tuesday. This matters beyond just comfort, because there's a potential flash freeze situation developing. When the ground is warm and wet from all the rain on Thursday, and then temperatures plummet 40 degrees in a matter of hours, roads can ice up extremely fast. That's a scenario that catches people off guard every single time. And then there's what could happen late Sunday into Monday on the East Coast. And this is where I want you to stay tuned very closely over the coming days. The Weather Prediction Center has already flagged coastal areas from Boston down to Washington, D.C. for a heavy snow risk during the Monday timeframe. The GFS model is showing a storm system rapidly intensifying offshore, almost reaching bomb cyclone status, with the potential for a full nor'easter. The European model is not as aggressive and keeps the system weaker, so there's a genuine disagreement between models right now, and that means uncertainty is high. But here's what you need to understand. This is not a fringe scenario being talked about by one outlier model. This is a legitimate threat on the table that the Weather Prediction Center is already paying attention to. If the GFS solution verifies and this storm shifts just slightly back to the west, we could be talking about feet of snow in Boston, New York, and D.C. We'll know a lot more in the next 24 to 48 hours. And even after all of this, the pattern doesn't relax. By the middle and end of next week, another shot of Arctic air could push into the Midwest and Northeast, potentially bringing snow chances further south than we've seen in a while. If you've been waiting for a real winter this season, the last week of February and the start of March is looking like it might deliver. The bottom line is this. The next 7 days are going to be one of the most active weather periods we've seen this winter. Winter storms, severe weather, a potential historic nor'easter, and a 40-degree temperature crash. All of it stacked one after another. Make sure you've got your plans in place, your emergency kit is ready, and you're checking back here because this forecast is going to be evolving fast. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you don't miss a single update as this storm train